Hello and welcome back to another one of my FPL videos. I of course am the FPL Train, and in this video, yes, you've seen it in the thumbnail, I've activated my wildcard chip ahead of game week 35. Now I'm not going to lie to you, I'm not 100% satisfied with the team at all. There's still a few positions that I really could do with changing before the deadline, just because I don't like the players, to be honest, but majority of the team I'm quite happy with, but even then I could probably change it by the deadline. But I'm going to reveal to you how it looks so far. But before all of that, we're going to look back on game week 34, which is obviously still going on. We've got Man City and Brighton playing tonight, but because I don't own either player, I can reveal to you how my team's got on. Now, of course, my rank will change by the end of game week 34, but this is how it's looking so far in my rank, and this is how my team is. So, 113 points is what I scored in this game week. I did activate my free hit chip for it, and I've got to say I'm really happy with it, to be fair. It definitely works out quite nicely, especially the fact that I didn't obviously use my free hit chip in the game week 29, which obviously was the blank. I think I only lost out by like 10 points, but obviously here I've absolutely smashed it. My highest game week so far this season. So it's pushed my rank up now to top 100k for now. Obviously that can change. Obviously Erling Haaland, who is on my bench here, you know, he isn't going to be playing tonight against Brighton, so it's really mostly going to be all about Phil Foden, where a lot of people own him. Will he play? It's not actually guaranteed still yet. He didn't train on Tuesday, so it'll be interesting to see if he plays. I'm really hoping he doesn't, because that really helps me out, but we'll have to wait and see. So anyways, let's go through the team then. So starting off in the goalkeeping situation, I had Alisson Becker as my starting goalkeeper and Dean Henderson as my backup. Both of them, of course, ended up with 5 points each. So I've got, well, at least it doesn't, bother me too much in my mind. Bit disappointed, really, because I did generally think Alisson would get me, double-digit points. He had both Fulham and Everton in this game week. They did win, obviously, against Fulham, but they lost last night 2-0 to Everton. So that was obviously quite surprising. He got a save point in both of these games, so he came away with 3 points against Fulham and 2 points against Everton. But yeah, overall, I'm pretty disappointed. I generally expected him to get a lot more there. Whereas Dean Henderson, he had a bit of a stinker against West Ham, conceded 2 goals. Got -1 overall. I think one of their goals went down as an own goal for him, so that's why he ended up with minus in that game. But then last night, he came away with a storming performance against Everton, got a clean sheet and ended up on 6 points, which of course meant he ended up on the same amount of points than Becker. So overall, both of them ended up with 5 points, so I didn't miss out there. With the defenders then, I mean, mixed bag really. So on my bench then, I had Livramento, who didn't actually play in game week 34, so he ended up with nothing, and Dalot. Now that was a bit of a gamble because he had Sheffield United, at Old Trafford, and I did say last week, United just conceded too many chances, so I don't really fancy having him in my back line. I did think they were going to score Sheffield United, and they did. Got 2 goals, so he only came with 1. But he should have scored, to be fair. He 1-on-1, yeah. Disappointing from Dalot, to be fair. So, only got the 1 point there. My starting lineup also didn't end up great. So, Virgil van Dijk was my Liverpool defender. Should have gone for Trent Alexander-Arnold. Obviously, he scored that free kick against Fulham, so to only come away with 2 points, and even then both those were in the Fulham game. He got nothing out of the Everton game. Yellow card, conceded 2 points. It was an absolutely shocking performance there from Van Dijk. I expected a lot more. Like Alisson Becker, I expected double digits really. So to come away with just 2 points was pretty shocking. Max Kilman as well, another 2 points there. Another disappointing show. I mean, he got nothing in the Arsenal game. I was kind of hoping he'd get at least 1 point in the game, but that didn't happen. And the 2 points against Bournemouth, I was kind of hoping they'd get a clean sheet there. Didn't happen. And then right at the end of the game, right at the end, he scored a goal and he got ruled off for offside. I couldn't believe it. So close from there from Haaland for Kilman, but it didn't unfortunately happen. And that differential pick did not work out for me at all. And then finally, that leaves me with Gabriel. 12 points there, 2 clean sheets. I've got to be happy with that, to be fair. Obviously, the likes of Ben White absolutely smashed it in this game week, so I could have really gone for him. Whether I kept obviously Gabriel or gone for another Arsenal defender, but as you can see, I did have two Arsenal midfielders. Ben White, of course, outscored them both, but I felt like I had to have just one Arsenal defender. So, yeah, it didn't work out, obviously, not having Ben White, but I've got to be happy with the fact that I had an Arsenal defender. With my midfield then, so starting us off here, I've got quite a decent, all-round midfield to be fair. And Brereton Diaz, got to be happy with how he got on. I did say Man United keep conceding, chances. I've just said it already before. And he did score against United, so he got 7 points there. I mean, Sheffield United was shocking against Burnley. He got battered 4-1. So the fact that he didn't score in that game was disappointing, but at least he got one returns, which was quite satisfying because I'm not going to lie, I was pretty worried overall. I mean, Mohamed Salah, he was my captain for this game week. What do I say about this one? 6 points in 2 game weeks for Mohamed Salah. The fact that he didn't even start against Fulham, I was so shocked about. He never gets dropped. He never gets rested. He did. He played 16 minutes, didn't do anything in those 16 minutes and got me a 1 point. But he started against Everton, played the full 90 and was naff all game. So yeah, that was really shocking. My Liverpool assets did not work out at all this game. They really were the biggest surprising package. The only one that probably would have worked out is if you went for somebody like Trent Alexander-Arnold, really. But nobody was sure he was going to start both games, which he did. So if you did go for Trent, well done. But yeah, they didn't work out for me at all. 14 points, absolutely smashed it. Really happy with that. 11 points against West Ham. Only got the 3 against Newcastle, but he did smash it against West Ham. Got the goal, got an assist. Got to be happy with that, and a bonus point on top of it. So yeah, happy with that one, to be fair. Can't deny that. I mean, my Crystal Palace assets did pretty well, to be fair. Much better than my Liverpool ones. We would have thought that. Kai Havertz, 17 points there. I mean, that one I was really buzzing about. Now, I don't have TNT Sports, so I was watching the Liverpool game while the Arsenal game was played against Chelsea. And I was a bit like, oh God, a couple of goals up, still no returns. Because obviously, against Wolves, he didn't get anything. He only got 3 points there. Thankfully, though, he did finally get on the score sheet against Chelsea. And not just one, he got 2 goals against Chelsea. Obviously, he gets that clean sheet bonus point, and he also got a bonus point on top of that. So, I was really happy about the fact that he got 17 points there. So, yeah, satisfied with that one. And then finally, obviously, Saka only got 9 points. I should have took him out. Should have put Odegaard in, who got, obviously, the 20-point haul. But, he did at least get an assist against Chelsea. But, yeah, overall, it was pretty disappointing. So, 6 against Chelsea, 3 against Wolves. Wish I went for Odegaard, but, 9 points is 9 points. And then that leaves me in my strikers. And so, I mean, I do have Erling Haaland in this team, obviously. But I did put him on the bench straight away because I wasn't satisfied with him anyway. But just in case he did haul. But, Pep's already come out and said he's not going to play. So he's on the bench. So he would have got 0 points, which I'm really happy with, to be fair. I'll talk about Solanke first then. So, Dominic Solanke got me 8 points. Blanked last night for Bournemouth against Wolves, but he did manage to get a goal, obviously, against Aston Villa, even though they lost, but it doesn't matter. He scored a goal. So come away then with a nice, healthy 8 points. But most importantly, look at that. So in my team selection, I went with Cunha last week. It was then revealed that he was going to be out injured for the Arsenal game. So I decided to take him out and put in Mateta. Now, Cunha did play in the second game, but he didn't start. He came off the bench, so he literally just got like 1 point. So the fact that I replaced him with Mateta right at the end, 29 points. That is unreal. If you captained him, fair play to you, because he absolutely had a storming game week. 4 goals and an assist. That is absolutely insane. 9 bonus points overall. So he scored 2 against West Ham, 2 against Newcastle. Got the assist against West Ham. I couldn't believe it, what I was seeing. Absolutely unreal performance from him. Honestly, I was so happy about it. I mean, the fact that he's less than 5% owned. This is the guy that's really put my rank up 50k. So satisfied with that. He's really made this free hit team worth it. So yeah, 29 points, absolutely unreal performance there. So yeah, overall 113 points, some absolutely quality picks there. Mateta, definitely. That Havertz and Eze got double digits as well. Really happy with that. And of course, Bertrand Diaz did get on the goal scoring sheet as well. So yeah, finally got a green arrow. Obviously, it could change tonight if Phil Foden comes on and scores an hat-trick. But for now, I'm really happy with that. So then let's go through the team then for game week 35. I'm starting us off on my goalkeepers, and the goalkeepers that I've chosen so far, subject to change of course, is Jordan Pickford, who sat there on the bench, and of course Onana. So if I do have these two, I would start Onana ahead of Jordan Pickford. Obviously, the notable absences are no Petrovic of Chelsea or Vicalia, how you say his name, of Spurs. Now the reason why I haven't gone for obviously Vicalia of Spurs, again I probably said that wrong, is because I don't fancy them keeping any kind of clean sheet anytime soon. They've got Arsenal and Chelsea there in this double game week coming up. Honestly, I don't see there being a clean sheet in that game at all, so I didn't see any point of having him, because in game week 36 he's then got Liverpool. Can't see a clean sheet there. Maybe in game week 37, the double, he could get one against Burnley, but then he's got Man City that same game week. So for me, I just didn't fancy him, to be fair. Petrovic of Chelsea is somebody I could possibly change and bring him in, but for now he's not in there. I've got Onana and Pickford. I've got Onana as my starting goalkeeper because he's got Burnley at home. Look, he's shocking at the back. United are shocking at the back, alright? So the chances in keeping clean sheets so far are not great. Hopefully it turns around against Burnley. We'll have to see, but he is my preferred goalkeeper for this game week, whereas Jordan Pickford does obviously have Brentford, which is a little bit tougher at home, but still. But the reason why I've got Jordan Pickford in here is because game week 36, he does have Luton, so he'll possibly be my goalkeeper for game week 36, whereas Onana, he will be playing against Crystal Palace away, who's in a bit of good form at this present time, so I'm not fancying going against Crystal Palace at the moment. And then game week 37, obviously Man United do have a double game week, and Jordan Pickford does play Sheffield United at home, which is obviously the best fixture you can get. So for that, obviously I will be bench boosted in game week 37. So to have him on my bench, I do think there's a good chance he'll then get a clean sheet. Where in the meantime, Onana's got a pretty tough double game week, to be fair, against the likes of Arsenal and Newcastle, both at home. So fingers crossed he can do well there, but I'm not actually that optimistic. Maybe against Newcastle, but not so much against Arsenal. So overall, I think those two are possibly my best options. But maybe I'll bring in Petrovic. Now, he does have two double game weeks, obviously. Double game week in 35 and 37. So I could possibly change and bring him in and take out one of the two goalkeepers. If it's whichever one it would be Onana to come out, because I really do prefer Jordan Pickford's single game week than Man United's double. So with the back line then, it will be a back three, of course, like I keep saying. We're not keeping clean sheets apparently, so there's no point having defenders. So back three consists of Cucurella, Shaw and Ruben Diaz, with Branthwaite and Gabriel on the bench. I've got Cucurella ahead of Gusto just because at the moment in time, Gusto just seems to be so weak. He comes off a lot. He's injured quite a bit. So he could possibly even get switched around with Gilhurst? I can't remember his name now. So yeah, not comfortable with that side of the pitch. Centre halves don't really like either. And obviously, when you look on the left side of Chelsea's defence, with Colwell out injured now, Cucurella has started the last, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm looking at it now. It's the last 6 games, played 90 minutes in all those games. So looks promising that he could be playing for the rest of the season. He obviously had a great performance against Everton game week 33. Obviously not so much against Arsenal, just gone. I mean, they were shocking. You never know, they could bounce back. I'm not going to lie to you though, I have no high hopes at all with the fact that they've got Aston Villa and Spurs in this double game week. But I'm optimistic after that against West Ham, double game week in 37, and Bournemouth in game week 38. But yeah, I'm not optimistic at all for double game week 35 for them. I don't really think too much. This is why as well I wouldn't have, if I did bring Petrovic into this team and took out Onana, I actually would prefer Pickford in goal ahead, just because I've got zero faith in Chelsea's defence as it is, so there's no way in how I'd go for a double Chelsea defence. Fabian Schär's in there. I mean, bit of a disappointing performance, obviously, last night against Crystal Palace, but before that, you know, it was looking pretty decent for the Newcastle. He had 20 points in the last 2 games, in Gameweek 32 and 33. So yeah, he's been playing well, Fabian Schär. He's been playing well all season, to be fair. The fact that he's got Sheffield United at home, you know, I felt like I have to have at least one Newcastle defender for this game week. So for me, Schär, he's nailed on. Obviously, they've got a few injury doubts as well. We don't know if Will Trippier be fit enough to play in that. Dan Burns, obviously, another option. He would obviously free up some more money, but obviously Fabian Schär is probably Newcastle's best defender at this moment in time. And then that leaves me then with Ruben Diaz as my starting defender. So I am going to have a Man City defender. This guy, he starts majority of the games. I'm sure he's going to start tonight against, obviously, Brighton. Then he's got 35, he'll have Forest. Tough game, possible clean sheet there. 36, he'll then have Wolves, double game week in 37, and then West Ham 38. Man City are going for the league. I wouldn't be surprised if they finally do start keeping clean sheets. Not going to lie, it doesn't come very often. The last one is actually against Arsenal in game week 30. It's been a while for them. So it's probably due. I wouldn't be surprised if they get one tonight against Brighton, to be fair. But yeah, if I'm going to go for a Man City defender, it will be Ruben Diaz. I could have obviously gone for something like Kyle Walker, but no, I'm not quite sure. He might rest him in the double game week just because he had an injury not so long ago. So yeah, Ruben Diaz is my third defender, leaving Gabriel and Branthwaite on the bench. So Branthwaite, storming performance. He's just had in the double game week 34. Obviously, he got 20 points overall. You know, hopefully he can do something again. But he will be on my bench in game week 35. But I've got him as well, like I mentioned with Pickford, game week 37, Sheffield United at home. You know, if Everton keep a clean sheet there, I'll be buzzing because that would be 14 points from those two players, 12 points, should I say, from those two players straight away. So, yeah, fingers crossed that works out a treat for me. Bit of a gamble to go for double Everton on it, but I'm going for it anyway. He is dirt cheap as well. And then obviously Gabriel, he's on the bench just because of the London derby. It's a massive game. I can see goals in it, to be fair, so it puts me off putting an Arsenal defender in there. But he does have the likes of Bournemouth, United, Everton for the rest of the season, and I'm sure he'll be fine in those games. No double game week in 37, but, you know, I still think he can keep a clean sheet against United, but we'll have to see. We're a tight game, but we'll see. But for sure, I've got him for the likes of Bournemouth and Everton. With my midfielders then, starters off, Cole Palmer's in there. I've mentioned this in my video the other day. He's a must-have in your team. You've got to have Cole Palmer in there. Double game week this week, 20 goals, 10 assists. Unreal this season, so for sure he's a shoo-in. Bruno Fernandes is in there. I mean, this guy's in pretty good form, to be fair, right now. He got 2 goals last night against Sheffield United, albeit it was Sheffield United. But still, you know, he also had 2 goals, should I say, against Bournemouth as well. So that's 4 goals in 2 games. So he's actually been incredible. He also scored against Chelsea and Liverpool. So he's actually scored now in his last 4 games. So 6 goals in the last 4 games is actually really good, to be fair. The only issue I have with it is, have I missed out on his points then? Does that mean I've missed out? Is he going to continue this form? So that's why I've also got one eye and possibly bringing Garnacho in instead. But for now, I've got Bruno in there. Burnley, should I say, at home for game week 35. Great fixtures to have. Got the double in 37. 100% starter. Going to be playing 90 minutes. And, of course, he is on penalties. Anthony Gordon's in here. So it's another Newcastle player. Sheffield United at home. Didn't want to miss out on this one at all. Anthony Gordon's unbelievable at home when it comes to playing at St James's Park. I've not actually had him at all this season, so I'm bringing him finally. Disappointing last night, obviously, for him, but I expect them to obviously get a few goals against Sheffield United. We'll have to see. It's always a gamble, because every time I seem to go against Sheffield United, the player I've got either gets rested or comes off early. So fingers crossed that don't happen this time. But yeah, Anthony Gordon's going to be in there. Son, another player I think has got to be in your team at the moment in time. I haven't got James Maddison in because I think he's been shocking at this moment in time. So, no, my luck now, he'll smash it. But yeah, just got the one Spurs player. I will clarify that. I've only got one Spurs player for this wildcard team. So that means, even though Spurs have a double game week this week, they've also obviously double game week in 37. I'm only going to have one Spurs player for this game week, just because, look, Pedro Porro is probably a shout out, but not 100% fit. Don't know if he's going to be fit. Udogi's out for the season. I don't like the Spurs defence as it is now at all. Attacking wise, Werner, is he going to start? Not so sure. Kuleveski, not 100% starter. Brennan Johnson, not 100% on him either. Maddison, if he does start, well, he does start, he comes off early. He's been shocking. So, Son for me is the only option. He's on penalties, he's captain, he's going to play non-stop. Not a great fixture run though. Arsenal and Chelsea coming up. He might get a couple of goals against Chelsea. He might score against Arsenal as well. So I've got him in there, but I'm not confident, to be fair. And then finally, that leaves me then with Phil Foden. Don't know if he's going to start tonight against Brighton. Fingers crossed he doesn't. But yeah, he could be a doubt as well for Forest. We'll probably find out more news from Pep after the Man City Brighton game. But yeah, I've got Phil Foden in there just because, you know, you've got to have an attacking player from Man City from now to the end of the season, because they're going for it. Let's face it, they're going for it. Some nice fixtures as well after Forest, Wolves, Fulham, West Ham. You know, Spurs is a bit of a bogey team for them, but I expect them still to score. And so then that leads me then onto my strikers. So I've got Erling Haaland sat on the bench currently right now. And I don't get me wrong, when it comes to actually my Game Week 35 team, I'm sure he will be starting. It's just going to be the case of, who the hell do I drop? Possibly I'll lean towards dropping Phil Foden and start Erling Haaland. But I've got Haaland on the bench just because at the moment we don't know if he'll even play against Nottingham Forest. He could be out injured. So for now he's sat on the bench. But my other two strikers then, I've got Isak, so that's 3 Newcastle players. Really going for it against Sheffield United. But like I just said with Gordon, when it comes to going against Sheffield United, the players I choose either get dropped or they come off early. Callum Wilson's probably going to be starting then against Sheffield United, and that's going to really irritate me. But yeah, the fact that he's got Sheffield United, then Burnley, Isak's unbelievable player. 37 is a double game week, which is a nice double game week, and then Brentford in the last game. Look, he could absolutely smash it now to the end of the season, and that's what I'm really hoping for. And then, of course, that finally leaves me with Nicholas Jackson, 3rd Chelsea player as well. I'm not going to lie, I don't like this pick at all. I don't like it at all. I've got him in there just because he's got the double game week, really. Do I think he's going to score against Aston Villa? Not really. Do I think he's going to score against Spurs? Not really. Maybe against Forest or Brighton in that game with 37 double, possibly. But at the moment, I really don't like it. What I could do, I mean, there are some things I could do, obviously. So, for example, at this moment in time, I've got Jackson. But what I could do is swap him for Højlund, who's got, obviously, Burnley at home. Not a double game week, but a much better fixture. And I could even then swap, obviously, either Pickford or Nana and bring in Petrovic, who obviously does have a double game week. So I could get that double game week back. So that is probably one option for me. So that is probably my biggest issue in my team, Jackson. I don't like him there at all. Don't like the look of him. I could possibly change Fernandes as well and bring in Garnacho. But yeah, that's how it looks so far. Obviously, it doesn't look great, in my opinion. There's something, it just looks like something's missing. Obviously, there's no Liverpool players in there, but I don't like the look of their fixtures, and I don't know what's going on with them at the moment in time. But yeah, Trent could have been a shout for possible going forward, but he costs so much money, and I don't think it's worth it for me personally. But yeah, that is how my team is set up so far then for game week 35. That's how my wildcard team looks at this moment in time. Biggest issue, like I've just said, though, is Nicholas Jackson. So, let me know what you think with this team. Let me know what you think I should do with Nicholas Jackson. Should I have him in the team? Should I put Højlund in instead? Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know what you're doing for this game week as well. Please as well, if you did like this video, don't forget to don't forget to click that like button, hit subscribe, and I'll see you all on the next one.